What up, my poker peeps? Welcome back to the channel. And in this episode, we head off to the Best Bet live stream once again. But before we jump into the live stream, we played a quick little warm-up session where we end up booking a $231 profit. And as you see, we head off to the live stream. We're about to go over some hands and see how I bluff my way to a big win. Let's jump in there. All right, so as you can see, here's the intro to the Best Bet live stream. I want to take a moment real quick for thanking them for allowing me to come on again. It's always a fun time there at Best Bet Live. And they put on, as you can see, I reach in my pocket right here. This is where I got the tipping chips. I go ahead and tip my dealer right here. Love this dealer. Every time I'm on the live stream, he's just doing an amazing job. So before we jump in this hand, in the pre-session that I won 231, I'm definitely about 6 to 8 beers in right now. We're here to have a good time. Got my buddy, my bro Diggs over there, and it's just a great night having him there and his first time on a live stream. So, like I said, I want to go ahead and start off with the right image, let him know the Hatter, the crazy hat, the action is coming. As you can see, I look down at 9-4 suited. I'm going to go ahead and open it up in the cutoff, and we're going to go ahead and get 2 collars to a flop. Now, at this point, like I said, I'm coming in here. I want to set an image right away that I'm not going to knit it up because, honestly, I'm a tight, aggressive player, so I'm trying to throw them off. So, I mean, with my open, this does hit my perceived range, so I go ahead and lead out. And I get 2 collars. Now, looking at their exact hands, boy, I was in bad shape here, fellas. Whew, man, this right here could have been a disaster. So, when the turn comes, I'm going to go ahead and slow down a little bit since I both of them called. And I'm going to go ahead and check. And now we go to a river, which is a 10. And at this point, I mean, I could easily have hands like ace queen. So when it checks to me again, the only way we're going to win this pot is to go ahead and put in a nice bet. So I go ahead and put in 50. And the button, he's going to think about it for a second. And he's going to let it go. I'm actually kind of surprised Free Willy didn't call here. He's got a nice blocker to the straight with the queen. But he goes ahead and lets it go. I show the bluff, and we are off and running, y'all. This is the way I want it to start. And if I would have known how things were going to go here in these next few hands, I might have not have shown that bluff. All right. So now we're off to the next hand here. And I look down at King 7 offsuit. I'm going to go ahead and call. VSM had opened to 10. And the flop comes 3, 10, 7. So I flop middle pair, which ain't bad. I'm going to go ahead and donk lead here. Trying to figure out where I'm at. And I bet pretty small, 1/3 pot. VSM's going to go ahead and put in a raise. I mean, he could have a lot of overpairs, stuff like that. But when it goes around to Zark's going to go ahead and get out of the way, and I'm not going to just give up on the hand. There's a lot of draws out there, and I could definitely have a draw. So I definitely have bad intentions again here. This has been a little while since the first hand. So when the 6 of clubs comes off, I think that's actually a decent card for me. And when VSM goes ahead, and he's going to go ahead and lead, I don't know. To be honest with you, I just picked up something. I don't know what it was, but I was like, he just ain't got it. I go ahead and put in the big raise here. It's probably a little too big, to be honest with you. He bet 50, and I go ahead and bump it up to 200. Definitely want to put max pressure on him. Once again, I really get off the hook here. Yeah, I had the best hand, but, I mean, he did have the nut flush draw. But with his exact holdings, I definitely put him in a tough spot. I was kind of wondering if he might have had just like Jack 10, maybe an overpair in this situation. But he's going to go ahead and think it out for a little bit. And this will definitely not be the first hand that me and VSM play. And I'm not sure I really like the line I take here, but we get it through. And we have pulled off 2 bluffs now. Of course, we don't show that one. At this point, we're like, man, I don't need to show more bluffs because sooner or later they're going to figure out what I'm doing here. So let's go ahead and get into the next hand. And in this one, I'm going to have King 10 suited. One of the better hands I've seen today. Wait for the action to catch up here. And we're back with our buddy VSM. Now, VSM, he's got the ace jack suited in clubs. He's going to go ahead and put in a 3-bet here to 40. And it's going to go ahead and eventually fold back to me with King 10 suited. Not the best situation, but hey, we're here to have fun. We're here to play action. I already bluffed him once. Let's see if I can get him again. So I go ahead and make the call. Let's go to the streets and see what I can do. I don't know what I'm looking off to right there. Maybe praying. I don't know. So, wow, this is a pretty good flop here, y'all. So I go ahead and flop a gutter. He checks. I'm going to go ahead and check back. And when the 6 comes, now I got the double gutter. At this point, king high is probably not good. And when he checks again, now I'm putting him on like an ace-x type hand or definitely not top pair. So I'm going to go ahead and start my aggression here. And I bet out 40. Right here, I'm not sure about the sizing. It's all right. I was just trying to get some information more than anything else, see where he was at. And he goes in here, thinks about it for a little bit. Now, he actually has a decent hand right here. I mean, he's got a gutter too. So he goes ahead and puts in the bet, or the call, excuse me. And we're off to a river. And when the river comes an absolute brick, at this point, there's only one way to win it again, y'all. We got king high. We can't check it down. So I go ahead and think about a sizing here. And I end up going a little more polarized. I go 2/3 pot. Pretty much here I go 120. And he quickly snap folds. We're going to go ahead. Look at the bad acting job right there by me shaking my head like I had a good monster. And VSM's going to go ahead, reach in the pocket there. He's probably thinking, man, will someone text me and let me know if this dude's bluffing or not? There I am still shaking my head like, what am I doing? I think at that point the alcohol was talking to me and I was having an inner conversation that said, hey, quit bluffing, dummy. They're going to catch on here in a minute. So we'll go ahead and jump right into this next hand. This one's going to go ahead and Saul has king 10 of clubs. He's going to go ahead and bet to 20. Diggstown, he's a couple of beers in now. He's going slower and slower. His thought process is getting off the rails. So he goes ahead and folds. It goes over to Zark. Zark looks down at ace queen offsuit. Definitely a premium holding. And he goes ahead and 3 bets to 70. So I'm on the button. I look down at ace queen of hearts. I could 4-bet here, but Zark's been playing kind of tighter, so I decided to just go ahead and call on the button. I got position on him, and we can take it to the streets where here tonight I've actually done pretty good maneuvering post-flop. Now, what's surprising here, and I would have never guessed this if I looked back, especially after playing all night to come back and see that Zach had ace-king offsuit right here. He played so aggressively the rest of the night. I am so shocked he did not just make a huge 4-bet right here. He goes ahead and smooths calls, out of position. Really don't like his play there. And then Saul, he's getting a good price, and Saul was actually a pretty good player, so he's going to go to the streets with us. And now we are going 4 ways into a bloated pot of 290. So the flop comes 6 of hearts, 7 of hearts, 9 of diamonds. This is about, without making top pair or a pair, this is about the best I could hope for. I got the nut flush draw and 2 overs. And when it gets to Zark and he looks back, he checks. I feel like he definitely doesn't have an overpair here. So I'm going to go ahead and start going after this pot. I bet 100. I probably could go a little bigger, but I kind of was wanting to see where everybody was at. And once again, I'm really shocked here, watching how the rest of the stream went, that Zach ends up thinking about this for a few minutes, shaking his head. He's probably mad that he didn't 4-bet, and he lets it go. And Saul, he really ain't got much. I mean, he had a gutter, but it's kind of tough. Zark, he really ain't got nothing but 2 overs, so I get pretty lucky here, and I'm going to go ahead and take down another nice pot without making a hand. So far, we've not even made a pair, y'all. Well, I'll take that back. We did have the 7s, but we've not really made a strong hand, and we are chipping up as we go into the next hand. And to be honest with y'all, that's sort of what poker's about. Sometimes you just got to stick and move and hope someone don't catch you with your hand in the cookie jar. Because right now, I'm waiting for it. And to be honest with y'all, as hands and the hour goes by and minutes, I keep on telling myself, like, hey, man, you got to quit bluffing. You got to quit bluffing. Someone's going to have to look you up sooner or later. So we end up getting around here, and VSM's going to go ahead and open. Saul's going to fold. Going to go over to Diggstown. Like I said, he's getting more and more drinks into him, so he's going to think about let it go. Zark's going to let it go. And it comes back to me with Queen 10 suited. That is a monster hand at this moment because I really ain't getting a lot of monsters. So I go ahead and put in the call. And Zach comes along. At this point, Zach, I think, starting to come off a little bit off the rails a little bit. He was having a tough night. So here we go. And this hand right here is pretty interesting. I really don't like how I played this one, honestly. So we come ace, jack, 6. So I have backdoor clubs, and I got the gutter for the straight. So he goes ahead and continues c-betting. I'm going to go ahead and call. By the way, he has pocket 5s here. This is why I get lucky. Now, the 9 of clubs comes off. I do not like what I did there. I should have barreled. I should have barreled right there. I should have took the aggression away. Instead, I wait till a jack comes. I did make a comment when the flop came. I said, I got a piece of that. And just a little speech play to see how he reacted. I ended up betting 100 here on the river. This really doesn't make much sense unless I have exactly a jack X hand, which I could have. But I'm going to have a lot of busted draws here. I'm surprised. Like, I think he's thinking about it, and he's like, man, this really don't make much sense. But he's really at the bottom of his range with just pocket 5s. I mean, a 6, if I had 6, 7 suited. If I did have some type of draw with a 9, I could have got there. So he thinks about it. I really think when I made the comment that I got a piece of it on the flop, he thought I might have got a jack. So eventually he's going to let it go, and I take another one from VSM right there. I really don't like, on the turn, I should have blasted. That was a terrible play by me. Looking back, I just don't like that. I mean, I have so much with equity because now I have a double gutter. And I mean, no, I'm just going to let it go, y'all. That was just bad. I had a flush draw on the turn. I got a blast there. So kind of an error there, but we make it work with the river bet. So let's go ahead and move on to the next hand here. It's getting a little later in the night. Old Duststein there, he had a big old mug of beer that he was drinking. And he was definitely a thinking player. It took a little bit longer. So this hand's going between me and Sal. And actually, Sal reached out to me after the stream. Super nice guy. We talked before the stream. And he's a very decent, actually, he's a very good poker player. He's a thinking player. And watching the stream back, he just got murdered by variance. I mean, he had a lot of premium holdings that none of them held up. So he goes ahead and opens up to 20 on the button. And now, as I said, Diggs is getting deeper and deeper into the drinks. And he's trying to laugh his way out of making some type of bad decision or good decision here. So he thinks about it, and he makes a pretty tight fold with the Queen 9. But he was out of position. So I look down, and wow, look at that. I got a monster, y'all. I got Anna Kournikova. I got Big Slick, y'all. All right, so you know I'm going to go ahead and put in that spicy 3-bet here. So we go ahead and raise it up. I think I go 3x here if I remember correctly. And we go to 60. And now it's going to go ahead and Zach with ace jack. He's going to think about it for a minute. Zach was a lot of fun. We talked about he had been to Ireland. Ireland's on my bucket list to go. He frustratedly lets it go right there. But I really like Zach. Zach was a lot of fun. Back to Sal, who we spoke a little bit after the stream, and he sent me an email from my website, www.madhatterpoker.com. If you ever want to reach out and contact me, I will definitely respond. I love meeting and talking to poker people. But he just had a rough night. And like I said, Duststein, he's got Doyle Brunson suited. He lets it go. And eventually, it'll be me versus Sal to the flop. And the flop comes 5-8-5. And of course, I'm going to go ahead and c-bet this. I'd be doing this with my complete range. Now, this is where I want to talk about Sal and how smart Sal is as a player. He quickly makes a call here. And what he's hoping is if I have ace, king, ace, queen, hands like that, king, queen suited, that he believes I'm going to shut down. Now, with Sal opening up on the button, he could have a lot of this. He could have 5-6 suited. He could have 6-7 suited, which just hit a straight. He could have all the pocket pairs here, even though 5 shouldn't be. I mean, if he flops quads, he flops quads. So at this point, I have a decision to make. Am I going to continue to rep aces and kings, which I go ahead and I believe that's the best plan. I mean, at this point, if he does have something, but he could have 2 overs like myself. maybe ace queen. So I go ahead and make another big bet, and he gets out of the way. So we take down another pot without making a hand. Yes, this is what we're doing, y'all. We are not making hands, and we are taking and scooping pots. So that's sort of how most of the night went. And we're about to jump into, I believe, the final hand of the night for myself. Yes, this is it right here. And I look down at ace of diamonds, queen of hearts. So I'm going to go ahead and raise it, open it up to 20. And now Dustin, he's going to go ahead and think about it. And he looks down at pocket kings, y'all. Dustin has woke up with a monster. Now, most of the night we were playing with a straddle, and he was in the straddle. So when he goes ahead and does this, I mean, he could be doing it for a lot of things. I decided to just go ahead and call. I have position here, and I believe even though that I'd showed some bluffs and I was worried that it got to them because you can't have your phone and everything's running on about a 10-minute delay. But the flop comes 7-7-5. So at this point, he's gonna go ahead and continue here in just a second. Now I have 2 overs, but more importantly, I have the ace of diamonds. So as soon as I look down and I know I have the ace of diamonds and there's 2 diamonds on the flop, I'm already starting to formulate my plan to go ahead and continue what I've been doing all night and just try to bluff their socks off. So Dustin, he goes ahead and I believe he makes it 45. Yes, that's correct. I call, and now one of the best cards for me comes off is the 8 of diamonds. Now, what I'm doing here is I put out 100, and I was trying to do it real quick. A lot of times people do that if they hit their flush, but really I was trying to block. I wanted to see what he would do if I let into him, or if I bet into him because he checks to me. I was trying to see how he would react to this if I did it really quick. And pretty much I had already made up in my mind, long as there's no way he has no full houses. I don't believe he has any full houses. I mean, you could say he has 8s, 5s, maybe 7-8 suited, but I just don't see it. I'm really thinking at this point he has 2 overs or he has a big pocket pair. And of course, me being the luck box I am on this given night, now I go ahead and make it. And this is what I really don't like what I did here. There's like 436 in the pot, and I just go ahead and go for 150. I was hoping that maybe he'd come back over the top, but he goes ahead and makes a quick call. He shakes his head. He's hating life because I got there. Not really sure. I probably should have just ripped it on the end. Maybe he folds, but I think I got to go for max value there. I think that was another mistake I made on the evening, but as you'll see here in a minute, we're going to post up the final stats and the VPIP and everything, but I don't know. I definitely like to go back. This is the great thing about streams. You can go back and kind of analyze your play and see what you did right and what you did wrong. Overall, I think I did okay. Definitely not perfect. I have a lot of room to grow. So let's look at the stats. So as you can see, VPIP, I was almost to 30%, which is decent. All right, and the cumulative winnings, I win 735. So not a bad night. Thank y'all for tuning in.